My 16-year-old daughter is closing a Dunkin Donuts alone with another 16-year-old. Question mark. My 16-year-old daughter has a part-time at a Dunkin Donuts here in town. Normally, she works only weekend mornings, but this evening she was on the schedule after school from 4 until 8. My wife left to pick her up for 8 only to find out that there is no manager on duty and the only employees in the restaurant are my 16-year-old daughter and another 16-year-old coworker. They are responsible for closing and cleaning the restaurant as well as counting the cash drawer and all the things associated with closing. Mind you, we didn't know this and it is now 9:15 and she is not done yet. I would have said to just leave and come home, but that leaves a 16-year-old girl alone in the restaurant. My question is, and Google wasn't much help, is this legal? I'm in Connecticut. I've already informed her that she is not to take that shift again. Time-wise, it's not that it's late, it's the fact that there's no manager. Supposedly sick. Any advice? If the only option was 2 16-year-old children, the place should have been closed for the evening. There is probably another one a mile away. This is not legal. Dunkin is being sued right now for numerous violations to workers' rights regarding minors. You might be able to get something out of this. Honestly. Tell her stop working there. I would not feel safe having my 16-year-old working at night with another 16-year-old, especially girls. I would make my daughter quit. Worst case scenario, I would personally be in the store with the kids, etc. I would also have a nice chat with the manager. I literally just scrolled past a bunch of Dunkin Donuts child labor violations post. Guess I never thought about this like that. When I was 16 I used to close Subway with a friend of mine who was the same age, like 4 nights a week, just him and I. It actually led to them being super impressed with us and offering assistant management jobs before we left, but we declined. I thought at the time it was just super fun to be able to run the restaurant with my friend and we held it down. It was a good morale boost. But I can see the safety risks now that you pointed out. We were also in a small town that had almost no crime, so there's that too. I managed a restaurant for 5 years. Recently quit, so my experience is fresh. In CA, at least, there needs to be a manager on site during business hours, assistant manager or manager. I would consider contacting the labor board because this is dangerously negligent. As far as I'm aware, prior manager from Dunkin, there always needs to be an adult present, 18 plus. Minors can't be alone in a business without supervision. Not sure what the law is specifically, but our compliance manager was extremely strict on the policy. Weren't they just in the news for violating child labor laws? Our legal advice will probably have an answer for you. And just think about it. Soon even a 14-year-old can not only work heavy machinery, but serve alcohol. Closing a Dunkin Donuts should be a cakewalk. End sarcasm. As a former food service manager, I'd be pissed if I found out 2 minors closed and counted registers and everything. If I were a parent, I'd be furious. When I worked for Panera, they were very strict about making sure all laws and procedures were followed regarding minors. If your town has one, that might be a good option for your kid. Unless you do something to address and stop this. The only other way is for something to happen to those girls for Dunkin to take responsibility. And that is sickening. The fact that the worst case scenario has to happen for any action to be taken is a testament to how much the worker is cared about. Hint: we aren't. If this were me, I would have gathered up my 16 years old Offered other a ride home, had them lock the door behind us and bounced. Not their responsibility. I closed at 16. But I was on the schedule to close. It's the manager's responsibility to find coverage, not just force them into the responsibility. At 16, I found myself in a few scary situations, and looking back, I'm lucky nothing worse happened. I had to call the police a few times as well for assistance with drunks, stalkers, thieves. Apparently some locations in the neighboring state of Massachusetts are in hot water. I'm going to call the doll today and see if the same applies here. That would be a hard no in NJ. Time-wise it's okay, but adults need to be on site during their shifts. For those saying this is illegal, what law is being broken? I don't feel closing a store at 16 is a big deal. Is it because they are female? My 16-year-old girlfriend literally was the sole employee of an ice cream shack here in Texas. Literally got there, made iced cream, prepped and cleaned everything by herself 4 nights a week. I don't think this is nearly uncommon. My Subway also doesn't have a manager. Most places probably aren't even busy enough to have managers these days. Kind of funny. Aren't Dunkin in the process of getting sued over child labor? Illegal. Call corporate.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.